you didn't know. Time for Talk Tech and Tequila with Darren and Jen. Call in live or leave a message at 855-366-9653 or email Dilbert at asylum.radio. It's time to take refuge with your friends. Your cocktail and cream puff.
Jen, it's back to you and I.
What happened? No more Joe.
Where's Joe? I miss him already.
Wow. What am I, chopped liver?
Truth be told, I do like having Joe here. Even though his opinion differs from ours, I still like him.
Yeah.
So here we are. It's May 25th, Tuesday. We're live, 7:30. Jen, what's our phone number?
I don't even know. 888-TALK.
No, that's the old one.
Oh, man.
I have to go to our website myself to find it, asylum.radio, because I don't remember it offhand. It's 855-366-9653. If you feel like calling in, please do so. Our topic tonight is the Arizona recount, or lack of it.
And people can call in and talk about how much they dislike Joe. That's totally fine as well.
Or you can call and say how much you miss him and how he was carrying the show for us.
Right. Like, bring him back.
All right. So I sent Jen an article from
Boy,
Slate.
was it a doozy. I mean, it's a dense read.
Yeah. It's from Slate magazine, which is an online magazine originally launched with the Microsoft Network. And they were actually bought out by the Washington Post. So it is a liberal type magazine. But the article was written by a person by the name of Jeremy Stahl. And I hate to type or to say things word for word from his article, but the article was written so well and it explains everything that he saw that is going on in Arizona with the so-called recount.
So is this, just to kind of give context for what the article is about, what is going on in Arizona right now that they're voting on or trying to change?
So, the election is done. It's over. It's certified and there's no turning back. So a lot of people still believe that Donald Trump will be sitting in the White House again after removing Joe Biden. That's what they're hoping for. A lot of people that are Trump supporters. But what they're doing
in 20 whatever whenever the next election is?
No, I mean now.
Oh,
it's still people believe that since
silly.
Since people that are Trump supporters and believe that the election was fixed, still believe, a lot of them believe that they will be able to get Biden out of office and have Trump back in the White House. But that's not going to happen because of the Constitution and the fact that the election was already certified. And what's happening in Arizona is a sham. And the article, it explains it. And really, I encourage you to read it. The article is in Slate magazine, and the title is "What if the Unorthodox Arizona Audit Declares Trump Won?"
Mm-hmm.
So look for that article, but we'll go through it and what the
it's basically like changing the rules of the game after somebody won to change the result.
Right. They're not looking to change the result, but my glasses are crooked.
What'd you do to them? Did you slam your face in the ground?
We're on YouTube also.
I keep seeing you like messing with it like that.
bit.ly/asylum live. That's our YouTube short address. So this recount is going on for one county. And the recount is going on at the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix. And what's happening is the Arizona Senate basically allowed this to happen. And they hired a company called Cyber, where is it here? Let me find it in my notes, Jen. I'm flipping my pages here. Cyber Ninjas. And the CEO of Cyber Ninjas is a pro-Trump supporter. He's one of the people that have come out and said that Trump won. And he claimed the election was manipulated by a firm with ties to the former Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez. Do you remember that claim?
No, that's
and by the way, Hugo
ridiculous.
Chavez is dead.
Right.
So Cyber Ninjas is basically, in the author's opinion, Cyber Ninjas is doing exactly what their CEO, Doug Logan, has accused election officials of doing, miscounting the 2020 election. So basically, they're using a process for this recount that was created by another pro-Trump supporter. And this process it's designed to be inaccurate, to change
is this the
basically the count.
This is the like average counting thing that I was reading?
Yes. So Jovan Pulitzer is another pro-Trump supporter, and he came up with this process to do recounts. And the process is basically designed to create errors. So the errors will be, of course, in Donald Trump's favor rather than Joe Biden. The process does not use the same process that is supported by the Arizona law for counting ballots. It's different. So did you read how it's different, Jen? Should we go over that?
Yeah, I mean, I think let's talk about how it is and what they're proposing to change.
So how it is what's supposed to be is, according to Arizona law for a recount, 2 counters under the eye of a supervisor tally ballots in batches of 10 at a time, and their results must agree between the 2 counters, and any discrepancies in each batch must be resolved by a bipartisan board before they're added to the count. So this process that was invented by the person I mentioned before,
the Cyber Ninja guy.
No, it wasn't invented by the Cyber Ninja guy. It was invented by the other name I mentioned, and I don't have it I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I said it before. But anyway, this process, which is designed to produce flaws, is counting in batches of 50 ballots, swinging around on a lazy Susan as 3 people speed read votes in the presidential race and the U.S. Senate race. So everybody's got about 3.5 seconds to count a ballot as they're spinning around on a lazy Susan. It's hard for me to describe this because I'm not there to really see what's going on. So all I can do is tell you what's in his article.
So what I'm imagining is, because if it's 50 ballots, that's a big lazy Susan, because I'm imagining they have to be face up, side by side in a circular fashion.
That's the part. That's part I can't tell you because I'm not there to witness it. But basically, as the author says, acceptance of error or alternative facts, as it were, is built into this process of counting. If 2 counters have the same total, but the third counter disagrees by 1 or 2 votes, then the 2 matching counts become the official tally, overruling the discrepancy. That sounds like a lot of blah, 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 but it's basically designed to create errors in the count.
So if there are 3 people, 2 people agree that there are 50 votes for Biden, let's say, and one of the 3 thinks there are 47 votes for Biden, then Biden gets 47 votes?
That's what I believe, something like that. So it's not...
That doesn't sound... Yeah. That's no majority rule there. No, that's kind of like discrepancy rule.
It's designed to create errors. So it's frightening to see that the Senate paid for this process to be done, and they gave it to this quackery Cyber Ninjas who they know is owned by
a pro-Trump dude.
Pro-Trump voter, but it's a Republican Senate, so that's what they decided to do. But there are so many issues with this whole.
I would like to know how much that cost. How much did taxpayers pay for this?
That's in the article. The taxpayers paid $150,000. That's what the Arizona Senate put up in funding. However, it really cost probably millions, and there's no public idea of where that's money's coming from. However, Cyber Ninjas is known for raising money to pay for these by anonymous third parties, which is going to be Trump supporters.
Trump supporters, super PACs, probably, right. Who knows, all that stuff.
So this cyber ninjas and this process has now got the attention of every Senate, Republican Senate in the swing states. So it's expected that if this recount, which is not for entire Arizona, it's just for the one county,
the Maricopa,
right?
The one
Maricopa
that's the biggest
County. If this recount goes without being shot in the back and ended before it finishes, it's expected that the other swing states, the biggest counties that have favored Biden, will hire the same company and do the same process. And it's really not to overturn the election. It's to continue to create doubt in the minds of Trump supporters and anybody else that they can get on the bandwagon that Biden did not win the election, Trump did, and they hope that will cause people to vote Republican in the next election. Because
Trump's going to be in jail, maybe.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
They agreed, right, to open an investigation on the January 6th insurrection.
They did?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That was like last week.
No. They talked about it, but they only agreed to it in the House, but not the Senate.
Oh, I thought there was both. I don't know.
No, the Senate did not approve it, and I don't believe that they will. I was going to say if they.
I thought they got 25 votes or something from.
It did it got votes from the Republican side. It was like 35 votes from Republicans to approve the bill to do the September 11th, to do the January 6th investigation. But then it got to the Senate, and that's where it's sat because
they would missed that part.
They would need 10 senators on the Republican side to vote yes in order to get around the filibuster.
Oh.
So it's not expected that will pass. So Republicans will continue to, not all Republicans, but the majority of Republicans are continuing to support Trump indirectly. And this whole big lie, as people are calling it now. If I tilt my head, maybe my glasses will look
It doesn't
straight.
look crooked, by the way, just from here.
I
think the microphone is...
Oh, brother. I like the way Joe had his microphone. Joe had his microphone tilted to the side, so this was less in his face than what.
Yeah, kind of like it's almost like it was mounted to like from the top down.
Yes, so I think I needed to go back and look at what he was doing and maybe edit mine. Oh, I see you have a new spit filter in front of your microphone, and you have your microphone higher.
No, well, I actually usually have a Mac that I finally got rid of and got a laptop. So now the camera is like here, where on the Mac thing, the camera was up there.
Oh, I see.
So now this is more eye level. So you see like a lower angle.
I prefer the camera higher, which is why I have it higher.
You know, like the whole
exactly. It makes me look less fat. Jen, you don't have a double chin. You have nothing to worry about.
Listen.
Me, on the other hand.
You look good. You look good, though.
Well, thank you, Jen.
Minus the crooked glasses.
I don't have any money.
Darn. Never mind. So, I mean, what are the... aside from continuing to spread doubt in people's minds about the credibility of the U.S. election in general, which is they're going to be on the wrong side of history, I think, in the long run, the Cyber Ninjas company. What else do they plan to get out of it? They're just trying to plant the seeds right now so that the Republicans...
This is another way to raise money for pockets that want to be filled. It's not all about changing public opinion.
Well, like Manuel says, if people are gullible or excited about donating their own money to these crooks, good for them. Let them waste their money on these idiots.
Do you remember the guy who famously said, "I am not a crook"?
Yup. Exactly.
Yeah, that would be Nixon. For you younger people that don't remember.
I think you just called me old, but whatever.
Actually, you probably are too young to really remember any of that. Me too.
I mean, I wasn't alive when Nixon was president.
I saw the movies.
Yes, I certainly know of his famous speeches.
So this article, I'm going to read some things in the article because they're interesting. The guy who wrote this, he says that he was outside talking to some of the people that were standing there, the supporters. And one of the supporters had a sign, "May Arizona be the first domino to fall," meaning there's a Trump supporter and they think that this is going to just make the dominoes fall into every other state. And another one said, "The Maricopa County Board of Supervisors are the enemies of the nation." So the way this started is initially the Board of Supervisors supported this because they were ensured that it would not turn into, supposedly they were ensured it would not turn into a shit show, which is what it's now turning into.
It is definitely.
Right.
I mean, why are we overcomplicating and over-engineering what should be a pretty straightforward process?
Yeah, well, that's just the way it is. It's because of Trump. He prepared for this before he lost the election. He started to tell people before the election that the only way he could lose is if the actual election's fixed, and people believe him.
There are many ways he can lose. And I think to say that it being fixed is the only reason is hyperbolic, which he's known to be, you know?
So here's another comment from one person who was there. I'll just give her first name, Kelly. Supposedly traveled from Orange County, California to attend the audit. And she was carrying a Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum in a holster as
Arizona, by the way.
He walks around between the Coliseum parking lot and the tented cabin to guard against Antifa. He said Joe Biden belongs in Guantanamo Bay.
What?
Another person, Kirk Vandermiller, was a counter protester. So he supports, what happened with Joe Biden winning the election. And he said, what's going on here is dangerous.
Yeah.
And he was standing there with his own signs, which read, "Election fraud in progress." And the other little sign was "Sore loser zone."
It's like, this is what they say, like when you don't learn your lesson from history, it just repeats.
Yeah. And that's what's happening.
It's what's happening. Yeah.
So Kirk also said, these people, they're living a fantasy. Adults live in reality, children live in fantasy. And this is the moment. This is a movement of people with childlike minds.
Immature.
So I don't know, but I believe that a lot of people sincerely believe that Joe lost and Trump won. So how do you convince those people? I don't know that you ever can. Well, if you had a process to make the counting more public from the original count, but people don't understand that most states have processes where, you have Democrats and Republicans at the count who are witnessing everything.
Yep.
You don't at this, which brings me to my next point.
I think that bears repeating. With what Arizona is proposing, you don't have bipartisan eyes on the count.
So the people who are doing the count, we don't really know too much about them, but the author, I guess, dug up some things. So one person who's doing part of the counts is Eloise Flagg, who was interviewed on CNN, and she was straightforward about her perspective. She said, "I think Donald Trump won the election. Firm believer," she told the network. "I hope we can come to a point where we're happy with the results and truth is told."
Lay it down. What is it?
You hear my dog barking? Is that me or yours?
No, that's yours.
No.
My dog's too old to bark. He's sleeping.
Do you hear him barking?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Shut the heck up. So another auditor was a former Republican state legislature named Anthony Kern, who participated in Stop the Steal events, was photographed on the steps of the Capitol during the riot, and had been fired from law enforcement
Oh, yikes.
For a job for lying to a supervisor, and he was placed on an official misconduct list. Kern's name was also on the ballot and as an official elector for Donald Trump. And under normal Arizona audit procedures, which this is not, it's illegal to count a vote where your name is on the ballot. And Kern was ultimately removed as a counter because of optics. Senate liaison Ken Bennett told reporters in the press pool when he was at the Coliseum.
So you said that in the article, it's not clear how these people are selected or who they are exactly?
They're selected by cyber ninjas, by the CEO and his HR people that are hiring these people. And he's going to hire people that believe all this because he wants people to do what this ultimate goal is, which is to miscount the vote.
Yeah. Miscount the vote. Get a crook and a fraud back in the office to benefit big business.
And the author doesn't believe it's to completely miscount the vote. It's to count the vote so the margin of error is within the 0.3%, I believe it is. And I don't really understand all that, but it basically comes down to making it look like Joe did not get enough votes to win Arizona. But it doesn't really matter anymore. It
doesn't matter. It's the question is who's actually being a sore loser here. Really, it's not Joe.
And now we probably sound like the sore winners talking about this.
It's
How
like
does that happen?
Here's what I think is like nothing is perfect. The elections are never claim to be 100% accurate. And there's a margin of error that we as voters and as a democratic society need to be willing to accept as a part of the process. But you have to trust the process, even if it's not the result that you want.
So the end goal is to show that more than the acceptable variance, which is 0.3%, or Joe Biden's margin of victory in the state. That's the goal, is to make him look like he doesn't have the margin of error that he needs to win the state.
So it's a numbers game. It's like Cyber Ninjas is they did some algorithms that figured out how many ballots do we need on a lazy Susan and blah, blah, blah to
and
make it higher.
It wasn't Cyber Ninjas. It was this Jovan Pulitzer. It's his process that other swing states are now looking at doing. And if they know that Cyber Ninjas can do it for only $150,000 because they're getting funded by other people to pay for it, well, then what's stopping them to make Trump look wonderful and in these other states?
This is the problem with data. You can manipulate it to
however you
prove you're right or prove you're wrong.
So do we manipulate the data to make Joe Biden win?
That's the thing is I don't think that the data was manipulated. They're trying to.
I don't think the data was manipulated either, but I do think that because of the pandemic, that gave the Democrats a great reason to push for all of this better mail-in voting.
Yeah, but look at what Trump did. He got rid of the mailboxes. He tried to do all this restructuring of the mail to thwart any chance to
try to. And now it even got much worse. Look at all the laws that have been passed to make it more difficult to vote in mostly the swing states. Taking away the ability for Black people mainly to be able to vote, to make it more difficult for them to be a valid voter. That's what this
Why
comes
is
down
the
to.
U.S. so afraid of Black people having a voice?
It's not
what
the
is the
U.S.
fear?
It's the older white generational males that don't want to lose power, and all of their beliefs are typically passed down to their kids. There's no end to this.
We have to break the cycle. And then I see how they're, I don't know much about Kamala Harris as a person or as a vice president, but I see that they're already demonizing her as being like the least liked vice president in the history of vice presidents. Just happens to be that she's a minority and a woman. You know what I mean? Again, using data to prove a point.
I got to say, I was never a big Kamala Harris fan.
Yeah, she's polarizing. I hear. I don't know. I don't know much about her. I just think
she comes across. We talked about this before, and you set me straight for something I said. I don't recall what it was.
I do that a lot.
She comes across to me as just this sort of a snotty woman in a way.
Would you say that if she were a man?
Yes.
Why? What does she do as a?
Think of like a snotty man would be Chris Christie from New Jersey.
You think that they're the same?
He's an attitude. He's got this attitude that he's even worse. He's
above the law, above the law. Is that what you mean by snotty?
Well, he thinks he's above the law because he the whole Bridgegate thing,
right?
But it's just the
sitting on the
chip
beach
on their shoulder that they have. But he's much worse than she is.
She deserves to have a freaking huge chip on her shoulder.
She's really successful with what she's accomplished. So
she deserves to have 2 chips on her shoulder.
Yeah, she's basically she has the prosecuting attorney stance, which I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot where I was reading it, but it was a whole article about her, how disliked and unpopular she is. How even when she was running, I don't know, in California or something where the vote should have been a landslide, she still barely won, on and on and on. But I don't think it's because her necessarily. I just think people are still getting used to seeing women in that role.
Yeah.
So it's easy just to say, no. You know what I mean?
There was 2 women. There were 2 black women, Stacey Abrams from Georgia, and the former chief of police of Orlando, I believe it was. I forget her name, that he was considering to be the VP candidate. And both of them, I thought, were better spoken and probably would have been more liked than Kamala.
Mm-hmm. Is it Kamala or Kamala?
Kamala. You're right.
Say it right, man. Come on.
I'll just call it Kay.
I'm saying Kay.
Hey, Kay.
Oh, my God. You call her Madam Vice President.
You're right. Madam Vice President. Anyway, so here's some other things in the article. It says, have you heard of this whole bamboo comments?
No.
Oh my God. That was on news too. When I didn't read into it when I first heard it, because I just kind of went in one ear and out the other.
Say it again. Bamboo.
Bamboo.
Comments.
It comes back to this recount. So here's the story. So back in December, Pulitzer, who I mentioned before, who came up with this process, said that he could use forensics to try to detect bamboo in suspected Chinese ballots. In March,
he used bamboo in Chinese ballots and the whole thing? Oh my God.
In March, he declared that my technology and intellectual property is assisting one of the most impressive and qualified audit teams ever assembled. So this is the guy who created this process that they're using, that Cyber Ninjas is using.
When did he talk about these bamboo ballots?
This is back in December. So
like very recently. Okay.
Right. So the theory is that he's saying that the ballots were created. There's many ballots were created by China, fake ballots, and sent to the U.S. and mixed in with the other valid ballots.
And I bet those ballots had coronavirus on them as well.
No,
too, right?
Well, he says that they're made out of bamboo because they came from China. That's where China makes how China makes all of their paper. And he says that his process, they can detect the bamboo in the paper to find that they're Chinese ballots, and that's why.
You mean like forged ballots that people in China submit, like absentee ballots?
Right. Well, no, yes, like the ballots that were mailed in.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know what the term is in Arizona, if they're absentee or some of the term, but all the mail-in ballots that they received. So
that's pretty, I'm kind of speechless.
So that's why some
do
of the
we not have bamboo in the U.S.?
We have some, but not. I don't think that it's very difficult to grow here. I think you have to be in a different kind of climate.
I hear bamboo grows like weeds. You plant it and it grows here.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
There's so many assumptions in that comment. I don't even know where to start. Wow. I mean, couldn't it be like Thailand? Why does it have to be China?
That's true too.
Like,
because it's all about the Wuhan virus.
Yes, I know.
China virus.
The China virus. Like, come on.
Shudder.
Bamboo, it has to be China? That's ridiculous. Bamboo is in a lot of places. I think there's bamboo in Mexico. I'm just saying.
There's also crystal blue water and beaches.
Yes. and tequila.
Tequila. So that's what I got out of the article. I mean, he goes into more things.
I've never been more exhausted with a democratic process than what we've been going through since Trump. November of last year. It's,
let me tell you more. I'm going to another page. I'm going to another page. This is another, conspiracy theory. So some of the things that they're looking for, part of, this Joven created as for his process is to look at the ballots to see if any of them have more or less been defaced or soiled, because
I see soy sauce on there.
If
it's like I can tell it's from
according
China.
to official Arizona elections, the manual states if a ballot is slightly defaced or soiled, the board must include this ballot in the hand count. So I guess there's fear that the machine count might not be able to read it. So the examples are there might be Cheeto fingers on the ballot or something that people were eating that is now on the ballot. So the process that this guy created is that these ballots are supposed to be counted by hand, which they're counting everything by hand. So these should be counted without exception.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is they are creating exceptions for these, and they're presumably counting which ones are soiled because they probably plan to take those numbers out of the ballot count also.
And that's easy. I mean, who is checking what the threshold is for soiled?
And it shouldn't even matter, because if under Arizona law, if they're soiled, they simply have to be hand counted. They're still going to be counted, just hand counted.
But now they're saying if they're soiled, they just get thrown out?
Well, they're not saying, but the observers are saying that they are counting the ones that they think are soiled, and they're marking them with special tabs. So that, to me, says they're going to keep those ballots out of their official count, despite what the law says, because they're soiled.
Even though their eyeballs can see who they voted for.
It's unknown. These are kind of based on what they've been hearing from people, what the author was hearing from people, and what he's seeing. That seems to be one of the interpretations of what might be happening.
Wow.
So, I mean, this article goes on and on with these types of examples of improper procedures that this cyber ninjas is following. It's sad and disgusting.
What is like the deal with cyber ninjas? Have you looked them up at all? Let's see.
I have, and I don't know much about them other than the fact that the CEO is a big time Trump supporter and conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow.
So I'm exhausted, Jen.
I mean, I have family in Arizona.
Where's your drink?
Mine's here.
Oh, you have a drink. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's what you had last week.
Look at my nails. You like those?
Oh my gosh. How do you make your nails like that? Is that a press on or is that hand painted?
That's hand painted.
Holy crap. Yeah, you're not going to put no press on nails.
Press on nails. These are my real nails.
How long does that take to do?
Hour and 10 minutes.
That's it?
She's like fast.
Wow. Do you have your toenails done too?
Of course. I'm not going to show you my toenails.
the same design?
It's pink. No, my toenails are hot pink, but then these are, I like a little, usually they're like neutral colors, but since it's summertime and now the mask mandate is getting looser, I feel festive. So I decided to give my hands a treat.
You know what the problem is with the mask mandate?
Tell me.
Everywhere I walk, every place I go, I still see signs, you must wear a mask. What's the point of the CDC saying, oh, you don't have to wear a mask anymore if you're vaccinated?
I went to the city on Sunday with Manuel for the first time since March or whatever of last year. And it was the first time we got on the path. We haven't been on the path since then. And it's weird because they have little circles where you stand to go buy your I'm forgetting all the names of the things. New Jersey Transit card, I guess the thing.
Right. Metro card.
Metro card. And then when you're waiting for the train, they have the little circles there. And on one of the walls, there was like, we're trying out different things. Scan this QR code to tell us what you think. So they're using us as like guinea pigs to see if the way they're laying stuff out works for
because the QR code will tell them where you were standing.
Yeah.
And then they can map that all together. That's interesting.
It was interesting. I was like, oh.
That's ingenious, actually. Who came up with that? How would it work for that company?
They're a tech company because they have like and they updated their app. I mean, there was a lot of changes since a year and a half or whatever that we went to the city.
And how crowded was it?
It was busy. It was but Sunday was like super hot and super humid. I don't know if you went outside on Sunday. It was really hot. So there were a lot of stores. What I did notice that I didn't see before, and I don't know if I just didn't notice or this is a change, is that in the Lower East Side, which is where we went to go eat, there are a lot of store fronts with their merchandise out in the sidewalk, like all displayed on the sidewalk. Which
are there attendants out there?
Some of them, others aren't, and I'm like, why do they have so many tables with stuff outside? Is there like a fair or I don't know? And Manuel was like, maybe it's so less people have to go inside to see the stuff or something.
Many people would not be doing impulse shopping because they're not going into the store. They're just walking through the sidewalk. But if it's right there on the sidewalk,
I haven't
shopper.
Seen so much stuff. I mean, you see the occasional like fake designer bags and whatever in Times Square, but this was basically every street. The stores had it. But it was good to see. New York is picking back up. It's it's getting there.
Yeah, I was in New York when DNR moved. I think that was 3 weeks ago or something.
Where is their new office now, by the way?
It's actually a smaller office, about 2. They said it's 2 blocks from the current office or something. But I think the past office was 32nd or something. And I believe, I don't remember. I think they're 34th or 35th now. So it's a couple blocks up.
Oh, even closer to Penn Station then?
No, it's a little further from Penn Station. It's a little closer to the bus thing.
Oh,
so it's not a big
Port
deal.
Authority.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the studio is, I think they said they're paying a lot less in the new place because nobody was paying for rent in New York. Everybody moved out. So
everybody left.
Yeah, so they were able to get a smaller space because they didn't really need the bigger space, and they saved a ton of money. And now they hope to that everything stays calm. That we don't have another resurgence.
Yeah, this is the biggest fear. Is like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are opening up. People are getting optimistic. I don't know what the status is of the checks that people get, but I think that once that runs out, people will be willing to work again. I know there's a huge impact on hospitality because of that. Nobody wants to work right now.
What do you mean the checks people get?
From the government, like this, I don't know what they're called.
The stimulus checks.
Stimulus checks,
right.
That. And then there's something else special in New York that's on top, an extra $300 a week.
Oh, and probably for unemployment?
No, it's something special for COVID and unemployment and stimulus.
Really?
And a lot of people are
paying for that.
We are. And it's like the hospitality folks, it seems like, I don't know, they aren't motivated to work because they're actually making more money not working than working a 40-hour shift. So there's
Michael Frick is a hospitality person. He was working at a hotel, and I know he was laid off for quite a while. I haven't talked to him in a while. I don't know if he's back to work or not.
Yeah. Hospitality, everybody we know that's in hospitality that owns a place is hiring, and they don't have people. Nobody wants to work yet.
Because nobody wants to work because they can get it for free from the government.
Yep. Why? I mean, it's like, why I would do the same. If I can sit at home and make $2,000 a week versus working 40 to 60 hours a week and making 1,400. I mean, I feel like that's a no-brainer.
So the stimulus has to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what the status is or where that is, but it's hurting business. It's helping people. I understand that, but it's like there needs to be a balance.
So Jen, a new report came out, I think it was yesterday or today, that this Indian variant that is going around in India.
Yeah.
They said that the Pfizer vaccine and they didn't mention Moderna, they mentioned the other one. I can't remember the name, but anyway, Pfizer is effective
Johnson & Johnson or no?
I don't remember which one it is, but they said that the Pfizer has the same effectiveness against, or close to the same effectiveness against that variant also. So I'm assuming that Moderna will be just the same. It'll be just as effective. So that was good to hear.
But are people getting access to vaccines? I think this is the biggest hurdle to getting better in India is access to the vaccine.
Yeah. Instead of making them and shipping them back to the United States, keep some for yourself and get yourselves vaccinated.
That's wild that they make it and ship it out. Yeah. And meanwhile, their own country is dying
and getting the black fungus plague. Ugh.
What?
We talked about that last week, I think. You hear about that?
Since then, come on.
Oh my God. People in India, a problem is because of the moisture and because of people who diabetes is very high in India. And when you have a combination of diabetes and moisture problems, and you're taking drugs that were to suppress your immune system so you could survive COVID, those things together can cause black fungus, some sort of black fungus to grow in your body.
Inside your body?
Yeah.
Like on your organs and stuff?
Yeah. And people, if they get that infection and it goes into your brain, it can get into your eyes, and people have had their eyes removed. It's just disgusting.
Oh my God. That's horrible. It's horrifying and horrible. Oh my God.
The problem is in India, they don't have enough of the drug to counteract that black fungus. So people are dying of that. They survive COVID and then they die of that.
Wow. Well, I mean, I hope they get help. I hope we're helping them. I don't know what the deal is, but I hope.
I don't either. I don't know where people can get more of that drug and get it to India. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, they need it. And I mean, they've been making the vaccines for us. I think they deserve it.
Yeah.
That's weird. Manuel noticed, speaking of like vaccine side effects, nothing like the black fungus that you're talking about. But he, for the last, I want to say like 3 weeks or so, he's been talking about his fingernails, and in particular, like his thumb and index finger. And he was like, it's really weird. I have like this groove in my nail that I've never had before.
Groove?
And it's, like this horizontal dent in his nail bed or something, where like when you feel the nail, it feels bumpy. It doesn't feel smooth. And he did some research, and it's actually a potential side effect of the COVID vaccine, because when you get the shot, I guess that point in time is like trauma in your body, and then do you have it too? I can't see. Are you flipping me off?
I'm holding my finger up to the camera, and you can probably see the light.
Yeah.
And the stripes. Is that what you're talking about?
No, his is more like if you're looking at your nail,
right?
His is like this way.
Oh, that way. Yeah, that I don't have. That's a side effect of having COVID?
Yeah, it's like that. Something about your body went into like trauma, and then your nail grows, so that line continues to move
So
down.
You think that happened when he got the vaccine?
Yeah, and now it's like a month, 2 months later, and it's halfway down his nail, let's say.
And this is a thing that has been reported?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. That's bizarre.
Yeah, it is so bizarre.
How come I don't have it? Well, then again, my shot was back in November. Maybe I missed it.
And maybe he had worse symptoms or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Right? I was like, weird. My nails are fine.
What else are we going to discover about our shots in 10 years?
They didn't.
Oh my God, my penis fell off. Oh, that's just old age.
It's just what happens. Falls off or just drags. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be the balls, not the dick. The dick shrinks up to be nothing, and the balls drag.
Is that how it works? Oh, great!
Looking forward to that. For a lot of guys, that's what happens when you get old.
The penis shrinks and the balls grow.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, that's unfortunate.
The penis retracts.
It retracts. I hear the retraction is from lack of use, so that means you got to use it or lose it.
That could be too.
Literally.
Thanks, Jen.
Use it.
Let me get back on Grindr. I'll find something to use.
Oh man. So I mean, are you getting out more? Are you going to more restaurants? Are you going?
Pat and I've been going to restaurants for quite a bit now because we started going before he got vaccinated, and now we're going out. You know, our typical Friday night or Saturday night, or both. We'll go out to the local restaurant somewhere and have a couple of drinks and have dinner.
Things are still weird. Like they're not open full capacity in some places. You still can't sit in the bar in Jersey, for example. Things close early. You can?
I don't know what's going on because
well, nobody does, but
the place that we typically go to that we both like is Sergeantsville Inn, which is an old Civil War stone building that
sounds haunted.
Survived. It is supposedly haunted.
No,
and they burnt not to the ground, but like all the wood pieces burnt in a huge fire about 5 years ago, and they rebuilt those elements of it because the stone was still standing. But it's a really nice place, and it's a neat feeling to be in that historic building.
What is it called?
Sergeantsville Inn in Sergeantsville, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, you should go there. We should meet up there sometime.
Yeah, let's
kind of
meet
a far
up there.
drive for you, but keep that in mind. So anyway, this place has a little bar, and we usually like to eat in the bar in the room that has the bar, but we don't sit at the bar typically. But that bar has been closed. They haven't had seats there. And then we had this restaurant in our town, and we're in Branchburg, and the one restaurant was closed for about 2 years because of, people, they just couldn't afford to be there anymore. And then I think COVID was killing every restaurant, but they reopened with a new name, and they gutted the place, redid it on the inside, took the old bar out, put a larger bar in, and we walked in there for the first time about 2 weeks ago.
After it's been closed basically for 2 years.
And we walked in, and I didn't expect to see people sitting around the bar, but people were sitting around the bar. No masks. It's like, is this allowed? I don't even know the rules are anymore. I have not heard
every place that I've been to in Jersey, they have, if they let you sit near the bar, they have like the high tops pushed up against the bar.
That's what they had in the restaurant that we go to in Pennsylvania. They had the high top against the bar.
Right, which is basically sitting at the bar, but a different direction.
So they did not have that. People were sitting at the bar. So I don't know what's going on now. But I was sort of, I was sort of glad to see it and weirded out at the same time.
It's so weird that after let's call it a year and a half of being isolated in large part from society, going back out into the world. Like on Sunday when we went to Lower East Side to eat, we were with 4 other people in the table sitting outside. Wow,
that's a lot.
It is a lot. Sitting outside though, and you forget the art of casual conversation and like bullshitting, and it's
come on,
weird.
You're good at that.
I am, but you can see other people are rusty.
Well, they're probably also thinking like, maybe I shouldn't talk loud because I don't want my breath to get too close to them. Maybe they're gonna be weirded out by me talking a lot or laughing or
coughing, sneezing.
Yeah, no, I don't want to cough.
My allergies are so bad.
Oh, mine are too.
Oh man, it's so bad.
Really bad this year.
Really bad.
What is that all about?
I don't know. Maybe because nature takes over. So people were home and nature was like, yes.
Climate change. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but it was really bad. So bad that like I never woke up with my eyes like swollen and running, and my nose, it's still kind of stuffy now.
You look bizarre.
Fine. It's like,
you still look beautiful, Jen.
Thank you.
And your car is, if you look in the morning, like I washed my car on Saturday, and Sunday it was filled with yellow
pollen.
Pollen, yeah.
Oh, yes. So bad. Allergies are bad this year. The weather is really weird. Sunday was hot. Monday it was cold.
Sunday I went to Pennsylvania to see my dad because my sister was going, my mom was going, so was my niece. And so we made it a sort of a family trip. And you're now allowed to go and visit without restrictions.
Oh, that's great.
Other than the fact that you have to be outside, or you have to leave by 5:30. You're not allowed in their eating places or their gaming places where they typically have people together. But you can go in. You're supposed to wear a mask when you're walking through the hallways. And we went in. My dad, I found him outside in the courtyard. He was the only one sitting there. He was sitting half asleep. It was 90 degrees, I believe.
Oh, man.
Had 2 or 3 layers of clothing on. He had a white T-shirt, and then another shirt on top of that, and a heavy sweatshirt.
Why?
Because he
was probably asleep because it's so freaking hot.
I thought he might be dead. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Dad, are you still there?
He was like, I'm almost like overheated.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. But he was comfortable because he's always cold, and he was comfortable in the sun. Well, he was in the shade with all that stuff on. And we were sitting there with shorts on.
It was very hot. It was 90 and humid on Sunday.
But I'm sort of like him. I would rather be hot than cold. So we were sitting there for maybe 30 minutes, and then Heather, my niece, and my sister Kelly were complaining about the heat. And she said, Dad, we should go inside.
I don't think they were complaining. I feel like that temperature, they were reasonable. Like,
yeah, probably.
It's not complaining.
For his health.
Yeah.
So we did get him inside, and then we ended up, we gave him not a haircut, but my mom wanted to shave his beard. She's so hung up on making sure that she can get him shaved when she can get access to him. It's like, why don't you just leave him alone?
That's a very well, maybe she wants him to feel put together and clean cut.
Well, I think she wants to see him put together and clean, and so does my sister. And to me, I could just let him.
Guys have beards. I don't know.
Let him look like Santa. But anyway, so they got him shaved, not with the razor blade, but it was an electronic razor, 2 different types. One to get the long hair off, and then another one.
How long was his beard?
Probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches. That's places. So they cut all that off and then shaved it closer. And that was a fuss. But we spent probably 4 hours there. And it was nice to just be able to be there sitting with him.
Does he remember that you haven't sat with him for a long time?
Yeah, he not exactly, but he'll often say to my mom, yeah, Darren doesn't come around much. So I don't know if he really remembers that, but he usually doesn't even remember my mom visiting the day after.
Oh, huh.
So that's all. But it depends on the day. Some days he has better memories than other days. So I had left at one point to go get a toothbrush because his toothbrush disappeared. So I ran to the store. It was like 5 minutes away. And then I came back and I put the toothbrush in his bathroom, and he was awake for this whole time. And then he fell asleep in the chair in his room. And then I was going to wake him up so he could go to dinner at 4:45. And he looked
dinner
at me
at 4:40. Hold on, what?
That's when they start to get them together, and they usually serve them at 5 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
So I woke him up because I wanted to get him out, and my mother had left before he woke up. She went with my sister because leaving is always confusing for him with my mom exiting, because he thinks that they still live together at times. So he doesn't understand that she's leaving, going home. So anyway,
so what do you
out to dinner? That was that.
What do you think of what are these types of facilities called again?
They're all assisted living.
Assisted living.
But the place that he's in is the memory care section. Memory care is basically where they lock you in a ward so you don't walk off and get lost or get hurt.
Right. And I bet it's also about protecting them when they inevitably get super confused and mad about whatever, because
you don't want them walking around to other people. You want them in a place where you know people are there to help control the situation, what's going on. So that's
other than that, though, he's doing good.
Yeah.
He did good through the pandemic.
Yeah.
What about your mom?
My mom's fine. She had her shots. We're all good. It's depressing to be going through that, but it is what it is,
Does she live near the assisted living?
20 minutes away.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad. So what about this weekend, Jen? What are you doing for Memorial Day?
Memorial Day. So it sounds really bougie and it's kind of annoying.
Bougie? Yeah.
We're going to go to Montauk and hang out in the Hamptons for a week.
That does sound bougie. But, what was the word? Bougie?
Bougie. But but the part that sounds bougie is we're going to the Hamptons for a week with a bunch of friends in an Airbnb. Now it's like 5 people, I think. We each get our own room. Each room has a bathroom. It's right on the beach. And it's amazing. And we're there from Sunday to Sunday in the Hamptons. And then we leave Sunday to go
whole week.
Yeah, a whole week. And then we leave the Hamptons on Sunday to go to a polo event in Greenwich, which then takes it like next level.
That sounds so. Do they still play that?
I mean, I know. I was like, is this the life we're living right now? Is this what's happening?
I'm in my own alternate reality.
We're going to go from the Hamptons to Greenwich. Hello. So that's our plan week for the week. Yes. What about you?
I'm going to Pennsylvania again. That's what it is.
Sexy. I mean, Philly's cool. Philly is really cool. Have you been
to the Mohonk Mountain House?
No.
You should
Where
look
is that
up. That's in New Paltz, New York. Mohonk Mountain House.
MOWHONK?
Nope, it's MOHONK. It's 1869. It's on rocky cliffs above and we're looking at the marketing material, a crystal blue glacial lake on the Hudson River Valley. It's really a nice place. Neat.
I mean, why? I don't want to go somewhere with snow.
That's snowing now, Jen.
I'm looking at the photo. I'm like,
riding in the mountains.
Oh, warmth and cool. Beach. Come on.
Okay, you're a beach person. I guess.
No, I'm actually not. I hate beaches, but I like warmth over cold.
That's why you should go to the Caribbean cruise that we're going on next.
I mean, that's a boat. That's different.
All right, Jen.
I would love to. Like I said, convince Manuel and we go.
All righty. Well, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next time.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.